Morning! Welcome to episode 9 of the Love Hate Social Media podcast. I'm Claire from the Marketing Geeks, and today's question is: should I start a Facebook group? Okie dokie, let's get to it. So, over the past week or so, I've been asked twice if somebody should start a group rather than a Facebook page, and once, and whether they should actually continue with their group. And yesterday I read an article that kind of backed up the answer I gave, so I thought I would cover this in the podcast in case anybody else is wondering what my tuppence worth is. So, first off, should you start a group? Now, because of the announcements a while ago that organic reach was going to be reduced, diminished, however you want to call it, within Facebook pages because they wanted to build more communities, etc., etc. A lot of people then went, aha, well, instead of a page, I will start a group. Now, where you kind of differ with a group is that the group is setting up an entire community from scratch. And for a lot of people, you may already have a small community, people who interact, people, if you're part of a group that meets in the physical world rather than online, or if you're a group of workmates, or if you all attend an event or the gym together or something. So you may already have a small community that will be part of this group, which is great. That's a great starting point. And if you've got that, then it's definitely worth some consideration. But if you don't, then you've got to consider that the fact is you are starting a group that has no interaction at all and encouraging them to interact. Now that takes time. You've got to know the group, you've got to get to know them a bit more, who's leaders, who's followers, who is opinionated, who is a bit of a wallflower, who'll stand back and kind of observe. Then you've got to kind of work out how to then best get that group to interact. Now, it can happen very naturally, and it does depend on your subject matter. But a lot of the time, it will be like dragon teeth. Dragon teeth? Drawing teeth. No idea. I actually don't know what that saying is. I think it's drawing teeth. So you've got to work out whether this is worth the time commitment, because you will have to be posting consistently, engaging content, so they're going to have to be well thought out, they're going to have to be informative, things that people will want to engage with. And you're going to have to be consistent with that, they're going to have to be regular, you're going to have to keep people in the group. And that can be a bit of a struggle as more and more people migrate away from Facebook. The best way to do it would be to get people to do video, but that's not always easy as well. So you have those two elements, that the time commitment and the consistency that needs to be put into it. Now, if you started a group 4 or 5 years ago, you could start it and do very little and it would grow fairly organically. But now you actually have to put in a considerable amount of work, and a lot of people underestimate how much work that will be. So that's for new groups. Should I start a group? The other one was, should I close my group? Because it's a time drain. And this is somebody who has been going for maybe about a year or so, so they know that their efforts are not in vain, but it's probably not the hugely beneficial motor that they wanted a Facebook group to be for their business. And my answer was yes. If you're feeling like that, then it probably is. If you step away and it doesn't, after a year, have some sort of interaction, or people aren't posting their own stuff, or people aren't looking to engage with other members of the group, then it probably is ready. It's time to walk away. you also have to weigh up the benefits as well. I mean, you have to work out which things are working for you, and if this is just a time drain and it's not actually getting you any business or getting you any future contacts, then you have to work out whether it's worth it for you, and that will be an individual choice. But if you are at the point where you think, should I just close this because it's pointless, and you know you've given it a good kick of the ball, a good run, then I think then yes, it is probably time to close it down. And that kind of leads me on to the article that I read yesterday. So I think it was on LinkedIn, and there was a group, and do you know what? I can't remember what the group was actually called. I think the company is called Coach Pony, and I followed it for a while, and it's actually very informative stuff, and I believe I was part of that group. But it was about 3,000 people, according to the article, that were in this group, and I do remember, they used to come up on my profile all the time, and I would see posts, and I am guilty, I probably didn't engage enough, but their posts were always informative, and posts were always something that I wanted to read. Like, I didn't get spammed by that group, which does happen with some, to be fair, but 3,000 group, and over the past short while, as I would say probably the past 6 months, they've seen their organic reach absolutely diminish to probably about 5 to 10% off their group was seeing their posts. Now, okay, when you've got a group of 3,000 and between 150 and 300 people are seeing your posts, well, you can look at that and be like, well, that's not too bad. But when you're looking at that and saying, well, actually about 5% of them will engage, then if you've got a group of 3,000 people, and 10%, 5% of that is 150. Now I'm just trying to work out my sums. 10% of that would be 15. So 5% that are going to engage in your post is 7.5 people. I guess there's half people, I guess. But yeah, when you're looking at 7 people out of 3,000 are likely to be able to engage because they're the only people who are going to see your post and be willing or likely to engage with it. You've got to weigh up whether Facebook are just screwing people over. And of course there is now the lead to put boosted posts and advertise, and as well as it being an incredible time commitment, to then have a financial commitment to keep growing a group, which excuse me, in all honesty, may not be benefiting your business as much as it should be or it was planned to be. You've got to weigh up whether that's just throwing good money after bad. So, unfortunately, this group has now been closed. And it is a shame. We have lost a lot of content, but I'm sure that'll be put out on other channels who will then benefit from it, which is, winning. But for anybody who's either starting a group or has a group already that's not performing, it may be time to just walk and figure out what the good points of having the group are, what the bad points are, and whether it's worth it. And it's a bit of a long-winded way of saying that, well, you've got to make sure that your company is going to benefit from any interaction that you do, because your time is precious. It is the only thing that we can't get back. So don't waste it on Facebook groups that aren't going to appreciate you, aren't going to interact with you, and it's not, most of the time it is nothing to do with the people in the groups. It is just the unfortunate algorithm. So yeah, that's my long-winded way of saying, no, I don't think you should start a group unless you have a massive time availability, probably some money to back it up, and it's something that will definitely benefit your business. And if you already have a group and you're already exasperated with it, then it may be time to just cut your losses. or just walk away from it and see if it organically boosts itself. You never know. These things could happen. But I'll leave that for just now because that is almost, in fact, it's over 10 minutes now. So I will love you and leave you, and I'll see you next week. Bye. You've been listening to another episode of the Love Hate Social Media podcast. I'm Claire Marshall from the Marketing Geeks, and if you'd like to send us your question on social media, then please do so. You can send them via voice message to anchor.fm, or you can email us at questions@themarketinggeeks.co.uk, or send us them via social media. Our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn handles are Marketing Geek HQ, and you can find us there. We look forward to hearing from you. Bye!
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.